one thing I insist on all the time is to be naked. I've got to be naked in the show or I'm not doing it.
My life is fantastic now. All I have to do is stay completely away from my family.
Hello and welcome to Watch List, where we talk with TV and streaming's biggest stars. We are here with the cast of Malcolm in the Middle, Life Still Unfair. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Chris.
It's a pleasure.
It's been 20 years since the beginning, and I know I love the show because you guys are a family being hilarious, but you guys seem to be a real family. Mm-hmm. You guys can talk and just tell me about what you thought went into making the show so successful when it first came
There
out.
was an honesty about it. You know, I this family was so hard scrabble about making ends meet. You know, they didn't have a lot of money for a lot of things. I always took umbrage with the idea that they were called a dysfunctional family because of anything. This family was highly functioning. They had dinner together every night. You know, somehow they made ends meet with their salaries. And those kids didn't get away with anything. No. You know, that's a highly functioning family in my book. And that's what I think so much of the humor was that because she's such an eagle eye watching them, they have to be really clever about coming up with these capers because they know they're going to get caught otherwise. Yeah. And Hal is just this benevolent, he loves his wife, he loves his, there's just an honesty about this show that I think was, and the humor really comes out of these situations and these characters, which is what comedy is supposed to be, you know. So I think people could really relate to it.
No, yeah, same thing. But I remember always people talking about, oh, it's this crazy dysfunctional family. But what I have is people all around the world coming up to me telling me how much they could relate with it. How their family dynamic, their mom, it brought their families together. And I think because back then when the show came out, there wasn't a family like it on TV. You know, you had kind of more the perfect TV families. It didn't feel as authentic as what Malcolm was. And the fact that, like I said, people could relate with what was going on and it felt more real. And I think that's why people really, really were attached to it.
I think the secret sauce to Malcolm in the Middle's success is that at the core of it, this family was a unit, and they were bound by love. Once the audience knew that subliminally, then we were able to just go crazy because they knew they could always come back to that.
It was, a safe return.
Yeah, and I think that's what made it work.
And then speaking of the return, I'll start with you, Bryan. When it came to discussing this revival, what were some of the, I guess, non-negotiables? Like, what did you have to see or read to say, yes, let's do it?
One thing I insist on all the time is to be naked. I've got to be naked in the show or I'm not doing it.
Yeah, of course.
I had to hold the line.
It had to be yak hair.
I had
on the body again.
Well, there's certain iconography of the old show that had to come back, and one of his Hal being shaved, yes. He's hirsute. And so instead of having brown hair being shaved this time, it was gray hair being shaved, but it's still hair being shaved. I wanted to touch back into my character and to have the experience, maybe because I'm much older now and I want to have a good experience outside of shooting as well as during it. So I knew that this was the nucleus of a family that I missed. We had a great time for 7 years. But I knew that also wouldn't be happening unless Linwood Boomer came up with an idea that made sense. That wasn't just gratuitous and just a reason to get back together. No, it had to be really in depth with the nucleus of what that Malcolm show represented, you know, and it had to be a legitimate idea.
Well, I want to say, I think he was tired of killing people. The other shows, he just wanted to go back.
Enough is enough.
Yeah, just being sweet Hal.
And then for you, what did you need to see to sign in?
Oh, nothing. I really had put my career on the back burner for some time. I raised my 3 children, and they were all now, the last one was just graduating from college. So it was just a dream come true to get back together with everybody. You know, I've had a wonderful life and community in Pasadena and involved in everything you could possibly be involved in a community. So this was just an unbelievable experience. I say there's this play called Our Town that I love, where the girl who's dead in the play gets to go back to one.
Spoiler alert.
For anybody who doesn't know how Our Town ends, she gets to go back one day in her life, her happiest day, and she chooses to go back for her 12th birthday. And I thought of this. I mean, if someone came to you and said, we're going back. We're going, you can't believe it.
Yeah.
It was like getting struck with lightning. It was such a wonderful success the first time, but to hear you're going to be able to experience that again, oh my gosh.
So was there a dead girl roaming around our
Yeah,
set?
I
Is that
used
what
her
you're
for
saying?
sense memory throughout.
Okay.
Can't believe you didn't pick up on that. That's crazy. And then Frankie, different kind of question remix. I understand that you didn't watch the show when it first came out and did a binge in 2017, 2018 with your family. What did that experience do as far as getting you back into the 2026?
What was really interesting is I was far enough removed from the show to where I could truly just watch it like almost as an outsider. Yeah. You know what I mean? I remember thinking like the comedy, like even characters were so much different than what I thought we were making or I thought what was happening. I remember having some of that, like, whoa, like this is super fun. I don't know.
Because you wouldn't have gotten all the innuendo for adults.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And like characters that like I really liked when we were filming, like weren't necessarily my favorites when I watch it, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Who?
I don't you don't want to know. Okay.
Yeah, you especially don't want to know that.
But no, I really appreciated what I was a part of so much more, getting to step away from it and watch it as a fan. And that's why I was absolutely thrilled with the opportunity of coming back is knowing, what I was a part of, to get to relive that. Like you never get to do that. You know what I mean? Like you really don't get to go back and be with everybody again from the good old days, right? Of the success and everything that we had as a show. And it was really surreal, but I loved every minute of it, 100%.
Yeah, and these things are not easy to do, and we've seen other revivals, and I saw these 4 episodes, and I was like, man, like they're 100% back, and I felt like I was just that same high school kid watching these episodes.
Yeah.
And
well, I don't know if I
passion's
said
still
this,
there.
did I already say this? But it was the same writers.
Yes.
We
you did say
had.
it.
I did say that.
No, you did not
No,
here.
but that's that was
Yeah, same
huge part of
writers,
it.
same, Ken Kwapis, who directed a lot of the old episodes.
And Linwood at the
was
helm,
there.
so the
Yep.
tone, so we just were able to, slip right back into those things and trust. It wasn't like some new writer was like, I don't know if I'd really be saying this. Yeah. We just trusted it as much as we did the first time.
And then what's your takeaway from this now? Like, what is your measure of success? Like, Chris Tait loves it, but how do you guys gauge going forward?
As far as performers, you have to just focus on the actual work itself and doing the best you can, having a lot of hope. A lot of things are out of our control. Yeah. And so you hope that everybody congeals and makes it the best we can all do, and then let it go. There's, we just hope people enjoy it, and that's it. The thing about having been in the business for a long time, the hardest work we've ever done really is on really well-made shows, because the people who are running those shows never have a that's good enough attitude. You got to do another one and do another one and do another one just to hone it. If you can make it 2 or 3% better every scene, well, collectively, that's a great improvement, and yours. And the discomfort or frustration or exhaustion that you may feel at any given time is temporary, and that will go away. But what we're making will last forever.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind.
I think of this whole thing too. I'm just overwhelmed and overjoyed by how much people love this show. Yeah. All over the world. I mean, we all have examples of people coming up to us in airports. I mean, mine is always this family from Pakistan. And I thought, you got Malcolm in the Middle in Pakistan? Yeah. That people in these 20 years, this little engine has just kept going. And people and new generations, COVID was like God bless everyone who didn't make it through COVID, but boy, did we get a lot of fans. All those kids were home from school watching it. It's just snowballed.
I think the thing that really was impressive is something you reminded me of too. Is the comments that we're getting is how important the show was to their families.
Yeah.
Way beyond how funny it was. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was how important about how families were able to watch the show as a family, and each one getting something different out of any given episode. And that means a lot.
I was in Paris and they love it over there. We're like Jerry Lewis to the French, I think, this show. But this woman was crying and said, "Thank you for what you have done for France." Oh, wow. And I said, "You don't think D-Day was maybe a little more important?" But it was really something to think what this show has done for France.
What are some of the moments that fans stop you and say that that was their favorite moment?
I get roller skates, speed walking, bees, any kind of image that is striking.
Yes.
And the shaving. But there's one thing that Jane and I talk about. It's like, I forget what season or episode talking
Flashback?
about flashback, and we're having the child, and
It's the end of the second season.
end of the second season. Okay, and she's nervous and worried, and we're worried to have another child is not great.
And Frank, you just made chlorine gas. He's a little boy, and everyone is out, and it's pouring rain, and
It's just awful. The conditions are terrible, and Lois says, name 6, no 10, no 12, something like that. Things you love about me, and
you have to say them now, and they have to be good.
the one I remember most is that I love how every one of your toes looks like it came from a different foot.
They were. You should see my feet.
No, that's okay. We're running out of time.
But what Linwood wrote, what those writers wrote about this family in total crisis, having another baby they can't afford. The kid is just poison.
Yeah.
And that how expressions of love, true love, would be. It just, you start realizing what these two really. I say something to him about I love the way you still suck in your gut whenever I walk into a room. It's the most moving scene. We were both just a wreck at the end of this.
Yeah,
Plus, freezing cold
and
water is pouring down
cold
on
rain.
us.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh no, it's going to be warm water falling on this." Like, you couldn't get the warm water to work, so action.
And then Frankie, what are they stopping you with?
I have so many, episodes and moments that I love. And, I would say the biggest one I get the most often, which I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, people, especially in Mexico or Central America, love the Komodo 3000.
The Komodo 3000, it's the toilet?
No, the
dragon?
the big firework that we get when we're on the ranch.
firework, yeah.
And we filmed we filmed it during the day and at night. I've
was on
signed
maternity
more
leave.
Komodo
Really?
3000s
No kidding.
than anything else in my life. Like, people fake make a Komodo 3000. I sign them up.
A
Boys like blowing
pyrotechnics
things
firm
up.
should actually make a
Yes.
Komodo 3000.
Tell Disney to market it.
Yeah. That's free advice. And then before I let you guys go, I just want to end with you, Jane. There's a quote here that I took that was very striking when I was watching the show originally. Now you're going to know what it's like to bust your ass and accomplish twice as much as all the kids around you. And it won't mean anything because they'll still look down on you. And you'll want so much for them to like you, and they just won't. And it'll break your heart, but your heart will go bigger and open your eyes. What did that scene mean to you? What do you think, looking back now, of that speech?
Paying the price of being a human being. I think the true success of a human being is obviously somebody who is happy, but who has strived and lost. You have to know loss if you're going to be happy one day. And I think the possibilities and capabilities that Malcolm has on this show, and what he's capable of doing, is going to come at a price. And I want him to be a success, but more importantly, I want him to be a human being who knows that he deserves the success that he is.
All right, thank you. I'm going to cry, but we are here. Thank you for watching The Watch List. Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair, comes to Hulu on Friday, April 10th. Thank you guys for the time.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Good questions.